Yo, peace everybody. It's your man, Soular Moray. We back at it again. Another beautiful day. We at San Diego Bay. I love coming to the yachts, man. I love coming over here. That's the Coronado Bridge right there. You know what I'm saying? It's such a beautiful day. I like to go outside as much as I can. Let me see if I can get y'all a view like mine. Just looking at, I just love this, you know? And I really want to talk about this word that people have called confidence. And the thing about this confidence thing, you know, man, woman, old or young, if your confidence, and this is, I'm going to talk about confidence, money, and purpose, okay? Because a lot of people's confidence is based upon, you know, external things, other people's opinions, maybe how much money you have, you know, and a lot of the time we compare ourselves to people. We do a lot of comparisons. Well, confidence, there's these two types. You'll hear these two things before. You probably heard them before, but I'll tell you again and I'll explain them briefly. There's something called external validation and then internal validation. So external validation is like making a video, posting it, and then how you feel about it is based off of the comments, based off of the views maybe, or based off of how things look. Those external validation. Internal validation is going to immediately come from you knowing who you are and what you're doing. This one's a little bit more complicated because a lot of people think that they know who they are. And I'm not here to tell you that you don't, like you've been with you your entire life. But what I will say is most of us haven't experienced ourselves outside of society's programming. Most of us haven't experienced ourselves in our most healthy state. And so we might judge ourselves based off of the mistakes we've made. Or we might judge ourselves based off of character flaws that we might have. Like maybe sometimes you might be lazy. Maybe you have this vision, you have this dream, but you have a hard time making it into reality. So you might criticize yourself and beat yourself up. But I want you to think about it. Are you criticizing yourself based off of you following your heart and doing your genuine best? Or are you criticizing yourself based off of how you think things should be? One thing about love is that, and this is going to go into money in a big way. I want to talk about money too. One thing about love is that a lot of the time we think that we're showing love or receiving love, but we could be doing it with the mask on. So if you see me with a mask and they're like, dang, you look good, you know, I might know that I'm being fake. I might know that I got a mask on. And you think I look good with this mask. So every day I get up and I go outside, I make sure I have that mask on so I could be liked. Right? That's dangerous. Because real love doesn't come from external validation. Real confidence doesn't come from external validation. Who you are is not defined by a job title, by a certain status symbol that you may have, how much money you might have. Those things don't define love, confidence, or success. What does is when you can take that mask off, and regardless of what people think, you're happy with who you are without that mask. You like what you see when you look in the mirror. This thing about authenticity is that I can accept, not ignore, not reject. I can accept my mistakes. I can accept my flaws. I can accept my shortcomings. And I can realize that by accepting these things, I can actually gain value from them. I can learn valuable lessons from my mistakes. I can learn valuable lessons from, a number of things that I maybe could have done better, that I can look back on and be like, now I know more. I can look back on and be like, dang, I could have just did it this way. But instead of beating yourself up, and instead of trying to be something that you're not, accept those flaws. Don't own them in a sense to where that's all that you are. Accept them enough to learn from them. Be like, yo, I did that. Yo, I was once like this. I once thought like that. Yeah, I used to look for love in relationships. I used to look for love and admiration by getting money. Yeah, I used to look for admiration, appreciation from having views, having followers, having that was success to me at one point. Now I'm a little bit older, I'm a little bit wiser. I can look back at that version of me that thought like that. And I don't have to throw them away, but I can be like, why did I think like that? Oh, because I thought that to be liked and to be liked and to be loved and to feel love, I had to have a mask on. So I started living life without the mask. And from living life without the mask, I started to grow to appreciate who I truly was. And the funny thing is, I realized that even though people have their opinions, they don't really care. Even though people have their opinions, when I go home and I look in the mirror, I don't see them. I see me. Now, I can wear that mask to myself and tell myself those lies and be like, you're doing great, you're doing this, you're doing that. But inside, I'm not accomplishing my goals, or I'm not following my heart, doing what I truly want to do because of what? Maybe what other people might think. Judgment, aka external validation. So you have to be very careful. Are you judging yourself based off of what society thinks about you? Or do you genuinely fuck with you? Do you genuinely love yourself? You can't say that you do if you haven't spent time with the mask off. That's your job, that's your status, that's your bank account, that's your likes, that's your views. You're going to have to let those things go and start to see yourself for your true value, your character qualities. If you're lazy, that's a character quality that only you can change. But maybe you're not lazy. Maybe you just don't agree with how society moves. I had to learn this. I had to realize that just because I don't want to take the traditional path that society is. All right, y'all, the phone overheated. We out here in the sunlight beaming. So, although I may not take the traditional path that society might say you got to do to work and things like that, I realize that I work more than most people that I see because I choose to work on myself. I choose to invest in me. When you start by investing in yourself, when you start by working on yourself, healing your psychological mind, healing your emotional body, healing your spiritual body, your astral body, your physical body, you start to think different. You start to move different. You start to act different. And from that person, I start wanting different things. When I follow my heart, it's a whole different result because I'm pursuing my dreams and my goals. It's not for anyone to tell me that it is success or it is not successful for me to want to be an animator, for me to want to make video games, me to want to make movies and music videos. It's not unsuccessful just because they haven't done it yet or they haven't done it with my vision. The only failure that you could truly have is not following your own heart. And if you don't even know who you are, it's going to be very hard to follow your own heart. It is. If you know who you are, you know what is for you, what's not for you, relationships aren't going to be the same. You're not going to build and develop a relationship with just anyone anymore. You're not going to be seeking just a pretty person or a person who tells you that you're handsome or you look good. That's not enough no more. You see, now that you love yourself and you found your purpose and you healed yourself, you're gonna want different things. Your focus and your value is there, and you see what you're good at, what you're good for, genuinely, without being fake. That right there is the biggest telltale sign of what you should be doing. I love to teach, I love to talk, I love to give, I love to share. I love this stuff. And so for me to build a life off of this may be difficult, might be difficult even in the eyes of many others, but to me it's my way. It's the only way. So it doesn't make, I can't look for what other people have to say about me. I can't look at what other people might think about what I'm doing. I have to value myself. I have to see my character qualities. I have to see my strengths to harness those things. This is the same thing for you. You got to get past the embarrassment stage. You got to get past being embarrassed to do what you love and to be who you are. You got to get used to living life with the mask off. It doesn't mean go around hurting everybody's feelings. When you love yourself, you don't need to impress people. You don't need to get people to see, hey, look at me, I love myself, guys, I'm loving myself. You don't need to do that. You just become somebody different. You start investing your energy in different places. So a lot of people want to get rich and they want to make money, but there's a piece of them that doesn't want to sacrifice their passion. There's a piece of them that doesn't want to sacrifice what they truly want out of life. Let's say you have all the money. Let's give you all the money. What are you going to buy with it, and what do you want to do with it? Money's only going to make you more of who you already are. So, with that being said, if you don't already know who you are, or you're being somebody fake, and then we give you that money, you're going to probably build a life that's not really for you. And you'll eventually have to let that go too. But if you make your foundation authenticity, and you love yourself, the people that come into your life, you don't have to criticize or judge how they are, because you don't criticize and judge how you are anymore. You live life with the mask off, so you can accept people when their mask is off as well. It's a completely different relationship when the foundation is authenticity. It's a completely different relationship when your foundation is your financial status, your bank account. It's a completely different relationship when you judge yourself based off of numbers, based off of views.
Got it.
Those types of things
You don't want to see this, right?
will not last. But if you can live your life with your foundation of authenticity first, you're going to figure out that you don't need people in your life to validate you. You can have relationships, but you don't need to force relationships. You can accept people for who they are because you accepted yourself for who you are. But if you're busy judging and criticizing yourself, what are the chances that you're developing relationships that aren't even really for you? You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when you want to talk about money, you want to talk about building your businesses or creating your businesses or choosing a vocation, try to figure out who you are first. Try to discover and take time to yourself. Be alone for a little bit, if that's okay. Not forever. You don't have to be alone forever. I realized that I cut myself off and I spent years alone. And what it allowed me to do was refamiliarize myself with my own voice, with my own vision, and my own heart, rather than doing things because I felt like it's what made people comfortable. Doing what my family members wanted me to do. Doing what my friends recommended to me to do. You know, I realized that most of these people weren't even my friends because I had to be somebody else to be liked by them. I couldn't be who I genuinely was to be liked. I had to be fake. I had to put a mask on to be liked by my family, to be liked by certain friends, to be accepted by certain communities. I let go of all of it already. And what I've regained is based on my authentic self. So now the people that are in my life, they don't need me to change. They don't need me to be any other way. They just want me to be myself. When I'm not being myself, that's what pushes my blessings away. That's what pushes the people that are supposed to be for me away. So getting paid for doing what I love to do is the only way for me. If working a certain job, you know, is something that you love to do, go for it. Don't let anybody tell you that working a job is a bad thing.
There you go.
Just do what you love to do. Follow your heart. I can't tell you what God is telling you. You got to tap into that voice for yourself. You got to listen to the Most High for yourself. I can't tell you what the Most High is going to tell you. But if you're busy listening to the world and listening to society, you might dilute or lose that voice or forget what that voice sounds like.
Nice.
Refamiliarize yourself with that voice of the Most High. Connect to yourself.
You can delete whatever
You always have the connection to the Most High. So when you're alone, you're going to hear that voice. You're going to hear it like, maybe you should just make that song.
Okay.
Well, I can't afford it.
Okay, now me.
You don't need anything to start.
Glasses up.
You can start following your heart with nothing. It's possible.
Okay.
You can start by writing it down. You can start by creating steps. You can start through visualization. There's no excuse. But whatever you put your focus on is where your energy is going to go. So if your focus is on external validation, expect everything you get from that to fall away at some point. If your peace is based off of how people respond to you, if your value is based off how people respond to you, once they change their response, the value is gone.
That's the boat we need to go.
But if your value and your peace is based off of you being authentic with yourself, no one can take that away from you. Only you could. That right there is the key to abundance. Not being fake. Not getting things to act like you're successful, whether it's a body or it's a bank account, but loving you for who you genuinely are. God works in mysterious ways. You might not think that to accomplish what you love to do is possible or is feasible, but that's not enough of a reason to give up. This is an infinite universe. Put it out there. Give it a try. The only way that you could truly fail is to never try. The worst thing you could do is to not start. Failures are inevitable. Mistakes are inevitable. But if you never start, if you don't even begin to try to figure out who you are, good luck. You know what makes something toxic? The inability to reflect. The inability to reflect on yourself. Be able to look at yourself, good, bad, and ugly. See the best in you. See the worst in you. See the ugly side of you too, and accept all of it as who you are. Work on the things that you need to work on, but first acknowledge them. And cultivate and harness the gifts that you do have, but first acknowledge them. You may not have the paperwork or the certifications, but you know how you treat people. You know how you respond to people. You know your level of emotional intelligence. That's for you to know, and that's for you to work on and develop. But if you can start with yourself, everything that you build off of that foundation, you get to keep forever. And when things do go, it's okay, because you don't have an unhealthy attachment to them, because you're so locked into your purpose. You're so in love with you. Your foundation is your authenticity. You never have to give up your authenticity. And because of that, you don't need people to be a certain way. You don't need people to treat you a certain way. You're just doing you. And trust me, start the business. Start the investment, start the movement, start the plan, start the production, start the music, start the art, whatever it is, just give it a start. The Most High told you and gave you visions and gave you insights and gave you a knowing and gave you a message. You better believe it's bringing in people that need to hear that message, that need to see that art, that need to hear that music, that need to see that video. You may not get millions day one. You may not get one person on day one, but at least you started. And if your foundation is you, every day, it's only a matter of time for what's for you starts to come your way. Build that foundation of self-love. Build that foundation of authenticity. Trust yourself. Follow your heart. No one's going to accomplish your dreams for you. They say faith without works is dead. I believe that completely, but if you just start by working without the faith, that's also dead. Faith and working. Love yourself. Know who you are. Listen to the Most High. Make that connection. Heal yourself. Let go of society's programming. Forget about that. Follow your heart and be authentic. Don't worry about what the next person has to say about you. One day they're making fun of you, and then you have the external validation they're looking for. Then you have the bank account they're looking for. They're going to start to respect you. But you never needed it when your foundation wasn't authenticity. You just need to respect yourself. With that being said, y'all hold it down, but keep it up. Peace to the gods, goddesses, emperors, empresses, kings, and queens. All of y'all, I love y'all. Love yourself. Stay authentic. Authenticity is what allows love with no conditions. And unconditional love is the only love. All right, y'all. Peace.
Shalom, I'm swerving through planets. Generational wealth. My kids won't be happy. Bust down a wrist, bust down a brick. Got a new whip. You act like a kid. Let's talk about rich. They make it walk, they make it run. I make it flip. I invested in me. Let's talk about rich. I got that gold that's going to last when I'm in the ditch.